you need to be resilient because it's hard, it's competitive, you're up against the pros right from the beginning, and you need to have a sort of never give up attitude. You're going to have days where you think, I can't do this, you're going to have days where it's really hard, but you've got to find a way through that.
Welcome everybody to another funded trader of TradethePool. Today, Daniel is with me, a new funded trader trading a swing account. So we will cover that. Thanks for coming, Daniel. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite.
Sure. So Daniel, let's dive into the swing, because a lot of the times I'm interviewing day traders, and it's very rare that swing traders will come and will be one of the guys on the interview. So tell us a little bit about your side of things.
Okay, no worries. So in terms of the swing trading, I've tried both, tried the day trading and the swing trading. The swing trading definitely suited me better, how I work with things, sort of how I am, who I am. I think I've definitely got more of an edge in the swing trading than the day trading. So in a nutshell, it's a long strategy. Don't do any shorting at all, purely long. It's essentially a pullback strategy, so I am targeting high relative strength stocks and waiting for weakness to enter. So that's typically entries on the 10 EMA, 21 EMA, or the 8 weekly EMA. So if we've got a momentum stock that's extended and it snaps back, pulls back to the 8 EMA, which they tend to do quite a lot, that's one of my preferred entries too.
Okay, and we'll definitely gonna dive into that strategy later on. I do want to focus a bit more about the day trading versus the swing trading, because it's something that, as a trader, when you start, you don't really know what to do, to go with the day, the swing, maybe mix them both. Or some way along the way, you need to find your own path, right? And as you mentioned, you try day trading, then the swing. What's the differences between them when you said to yourself, swing is where I need to be?
I think for me, I say the edge isn't there with day trading for me. I think one of the bigger things is what I tried to do with working with you guys, TradethePool, was I actually took on the day trading account before the swing trading account. I didn't feel like the market was quite right to step into the swing trading at the time. So it was sort of after mid-October last year, after we had the whole Trump new China trade war thing, and the market started to go a bit choppy and we ended up with the correction. So I thought I'd try day trading for a bit and see if I could adapt the swings trading strategies that I knew had worked for me into day trading, but it was really mixed results. It didn't seem to work for me. I'd have some good days, some bad days, and it wasn't really working in the same way. And I think some of the difference for me was, I think part of why swing trading works so well for me is it gives me an opportunity to really prepare more in depth. I've got more time to sort of scout stocks and stalk stocks and really understand how they're moving, which are the best performers, which are the strongest. Whereas with day trading, I found it was more reactive than proactive. I was sort of looking at some of the same stocks, but also targeting sort of your neglected stocks that have big moves on, good news, good catalysts, that kind of stuff, where I'm having to sort of pick it up on the day, and that wasn't really working for me. I think if I wanted to do that in future, I'd have to spend a lot more time trying to understand where the edge is, how it all works, all the nuances and the details before coming back to it. So that really was the big difference for me. And I think, sort of having that time with swing trading works with my personality a bit more, rather than sort of what feels like to me sometimes more of a rushed process with the day trading, like it's all done in the day, obviously, find your stock, enter, exit, manage. I've got time to prepare entries a little bit better. I can hold stocks a little bit longer. That suits how I work, how I think. So that was the big difference for me.
Yeah, makes sense. Totally makes sense. And I do come across spoke with other traders that also doing funded swing accounts, and they're all basically saying the same concept of, just taking it more easily, right? Slower, just lower
Yeah.
it down, and that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And tell me, how many years are you in the game?
So it'd be 5 years on and off now. So it was 2021 when I first started looking at trading, and really sort of the idea behind it was sort of through COVID times, and up until that point, I'd pretty much always worked a sort of 9 to 5 type job or shift work, and a lot of it was away from home like most people. So, I found that most of my days either at work or travelling, and got to a point where I decided that actually the balance wasn't there, the work-life balance. So I wanted to try and find something that was tipped towards the life rather than the work. I didn't really know what that was at that point, but I came across a book by a guy called Glenn Goodman, the crypto trader. So started looking at trading from the crypto side, did that for maybe a year or so. I mean, I think it would be unfair to call it trading. It was pretty loose trading at the time. It's probably more like gambling if I look back on it now. But that was my entry into it. Enjoyed it pretty much straight away. Thought it was worth giving it a good look. So it would have been maybe 2022, late 22, early 23, where I started looking at stocks as well, and started thinking, actually, this is something that I think I could probably do long term. Like, I enjoyed it, the challenge, all the other little bits and pieces that come with it. So along my full-time job, I was learning to trade in the background, spending time reading, watching videos, looking at different traders, following pro traders on social media and stuff like that, and just sort of getting into it bit by bit and trying to fight. I think probably most traders have had that whole, this is going to be really easy. 1 year, 2 year, I'm going to double, and I'm going to make a fortune. And then you realise actually it's really difficult. It asks a lot of you as a person, as well as learning the different skill sets. And I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. But carried on that process. 2024 I was made redundant from my last full-time job. So I had a bit of time then to enjoy life a bit, but also spend a bit more time learning the craft. So I spent 24 to 25, about a year, sort of trying the different setups and strategies that I'd looked at in the previous couple of years, trying to find out what really worked and what made sense to me. Gathered data, journaled everything as I went along, using Edgewonk, which was really interesting because it sort of gives you feedback on where to look and stuff. And then led me to, I suppose, where I am now with this strategy that I'm using. It gave the best results, it felt good, and it made sense to me. It was simple, it wasn't complicated, it was repeatable, it works in different ways across different market cycles. And that sort of brought me to here. And I think the realization was then that actually trading is probably suited to what I'm looking for, as in it fits my work-life balance now. I work from home. I say I make my own hours, but obviously it's dictated by the market at the same time. But I choose when I work, I choose where I work. You can take time out when the market's not good. So it works for me. I like it. I get to spend more time with my family, and do the things I enjoy, as well as feeling genuinely satisfied from doing the work at the same time.
It's beautiful. I love it. I mean, that's the idea, right? To find the right balance between work, enjoying what you do, enjoying the work,
Exactly.
and also spending time with yourself, the family, and everything around that. So It's beautiful. So diving into your account, tell us a little bit about your evaluation, the process that you had, trade the pool. I'll share the dashboard in a second, but you traded $40,000. Do you feel like it's enough buying power to use?
Yeah, for sure. I think my own personal experience of trading my own personal account was roughly half of that, so like 20, 25k. So it's in a similar ballpark to what I was used to. And I think for me, great starting point. You can take on some pretty healthy positions, and at the same time, I think it gives you a bit of a feeling of what it would be like to take on more. And I think I'd be comfortable taking on more than that. Because I think you have to get to a point, and I certainly have, where you don't really look at the money. The money doesn't really benefit me to, like looking at your profit and loss through the day, or this is my account size. It's more for me about position size, percentages, and kind of put that to the side. But yeah, in answer to your question, 40k is a pretty healthy
Nice.
to use.
So that's a good one, and it's interesting what you just mentioned about, learning how to use more capital, right? Because you used to have like 20, 25K number of shares, and the risk that you put on was different, but now you actually get in your brain to start adjusting 40K and hopefully more than that along the way.
Sure.
It's amazing. Alrighty, let me share my screen, show the guys at home what it looks like. So for those of you not familiar, every trader gets his own dashboard. The dashboard will show you your stats, the risk parameters, and you can really understand your progress and look at your equity curve. You can also check your achievements and payouts and customize your view, switch between light mode and dark mode. You needed to make like $6,000, 40K account, which you did very nicely. Your trading curve or the equity curve looks solid. You don't have a major drops or anything like that, or even pops. It's very, very nice and steady. Walk me through it a little bit. What was your approach here?
Sure. I mean, I think I was quite lucky when I took this one. The conditions doing this one were perfect for the strategy. We've had a really good run from sort of late March, early April, which suited this perfectly. So in many ways, I had a good, wind behind me with it. But I think core, as most traders will tell you, and you'll know yourself anyway, it was risk management being priority. So you have to protect the downside because otherwise you're not going to get an upside. So it was being very conscious about making sure that the risk that was taken was within the daily parameters, the max loss parameters. I didn't want to hit any of those at all, and just keep it tight. Try and be patient, because you're marrying up. I've got 100 days to do it, which sounds like a lot of time, but if the market's not behind you, it can add additional pressures. So it's about trying to balance that time and be patient about taking on what felt like or looked like the right stocks at the time and managing them well, which sounds really easy to do. But I could sit here and say that, I made plenty of mistakes through the evaluation as well. I look back at things that I cut too soon, or maybe I moved the stop loss up prematurely. But yeah, that was essentially it. I think the difference I found with doing the evaluation and maybe in my own account was being more concrete about setting profit targets. Whereas in my own account, given where we are, say we'd just come out of a correction, good time to put on risk, good time to hold stocks that are performing well for a longer period, or maybe not doing that so much here and being mindful about sort of keeping the profits within, the sort of consistency rule in mind and stuff like that. So being really more concrete about where you're going to enter, where you're going to exit, and sticking to that unless there's a really good reason to come away from it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you are mostly going long, right?
Yeah.
That's the strategy. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. Size-wise, do you calculate it? The size of the stop loss.
100%, yeah. I think that's one of the first things I started doing when I'd started trading with my own account. Like, it was really obvious from the stuff I'd looked at that risk management was key. You have to, all the different facets of that, because you've got no capital, you've got no trading. So for every stock that I'm about to enter, I've got a spreadsheet set up where I'll enter, entry, stop loss. It will work out the percentage. It'll tell me how many to buy. It will tell me what percentage of the account that is. I'll then marry it up with the volume of the last minute, so I can check that it's within the volume rule, stuff like that. So it would never be like, oh, I think I'll just put 25% of the account on that one. Let's go for it. It's that I don't work like that. It's got to be, the details matter. It's got to be exact. So that's how I do each position.
And the numbers are legit as well. Success rate 46%, on the risk reward 2.5, which is very decent. Is that something that you mostly see when it comes to your trading, either personal or previous evaluation, that success rate is at around 50 and higher risk reward?
I think it's actually the highest figure so far. So I was quite impressed with that. When I looked back at the year I did of my own account before coming to the evaluation, the win rate I think was about 30%, and I think I'd probably made, I think it was about 19-20% I'd made on the year. My first profitable year, so I was quite impressed with that. But this is a step above, which I think I'm quite proud of, because it shows that the work I'd put in has paid off, and I think simplifying things and isolating it to just one setup. So my sort of goal is to just focus on this for now. I've got a setup that works. I want to be the best I can be with it. I want to know strengths and weaknesses, where it works, where it doesn't work, test it under different market conditions before even thinking about looking at other setups to add to the playbook or thinking about shorting, anything like that. I want to feel like I'm almost an expert in that one before moving over to the next bit.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's a great tip for everyone who's watching right now. I mean, just the fact that you want to take one setup, be professional with it, and then maybe extend the arsenal to shorts or other setups. That's a great tip that you just gave. I hope you guys at home watching it right now will definitely implement that on your trading. Just be an expert on that setup. Amazing, Daniel.
Thank you.
You did really great. Just maybe last thing, give us, you already started with a great tip. Give me maybe one or two more for the guys that right now are trading the evaluation. Maybe they failed a few, they want to pass the challenge.
Sure.
What is it on the technical side that they need to do?
Cool. Okay. I mean, there's so many elements
Yeah.
that make up a good trader, but I think the core ones, because it asks so much of you, it's not just the skill set, it's about who you are and how you respond to things and how you do things. So I would say always going to be risk management front and center. There's always going to be your priority. Really understand how much risk you're taking on, how you're managing it, because without that, you're not going to make any real progress. But I think at the same time, as a person, you need to be resilient, because it's hard, it's competitive, you're up against the pros right from the beginning, and you need to have a sort of never give up attitude, but an honest one, so you're going to have days where you doubt yourself. You're going to have days where you think, I can't do this. You're going to have days where it's really hard, but you've got to find a way through that. And then I suppose alongside that, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes you're going to make the same mistake over and over. And in some ways that's not a bad thing, that's quite natural. But I think what you've got to do with it, if you want to make any progress, is be one, aware of the mistakes that you've made. So keep a record of what you've done. Why did you take a trade? How did you feel? What was the outcome? And spot whether there's any trends. Am I making the same mistake over and over again? Why am I thinking this? And then I think be honest with yourself about why you're doing that, and then how you can change it. Because once you do that and you really understand yourself a bit more and why you're doing these things, you can then start to work on, changing your rules or how you trade this asset versus that asset, and put things in place that is going to help you not do those things. That's where you're going to make some real progress, I think personally. That's what's helped me anyway.
You said it perfectly. I mean, really incredible tips. And yeah, it's a process at the end of the day, right? Even if you're trading someone else's capital, even if you're trading with no fear of losing your money and with enough capital to make money, it's still a process that you need to go through, find your mistakes, be aware of that, as you mentioned. It's an incredible thing. Alrighty, we'll finish here. Daniel,
No worries. Thank you for having me.
thanks so much for coming and sharing that knowledge.
You're welcome.
Guys that want to check us out, go to tradethepool.com. Maybe you will be the next one in line. Thank you. We'll see you on the next video.
No worries. Take care. See ya.